Let's get you straight to Cincinnati, Ohio, where prosecutors have announced that they will not be filing any criminal charges in the case of that little boy who fell into the gorilla enclosure at the Cincinnati Zoo. Let's go ahead and listen in.
Smoking crack and let her kids run around the zoo, that'd be a different story. But that's not what was happening here. She was being attentive to her children by all witness accounts, and the 3-year-old just scampered off. I'll be honest with you, and I'll show you. Let's see, which picture you got? Which one is that? This is the area that he went through, and you can see the fence. But he went through right through these bushes right here. And get the other one up, if you would. That's one. And he came through the bushes and fell down here. And quite frankly, I don't know how he wasn't hurt. He did not have a concussion. He did not have broken bones. He may have just tumbled and landed flat on his back. That's kind of the speculation. And was really unscathed.
Joe, what's the law in situations like this, and what standard would have had to have been met if there were to be charges filed?
Okay, first of all, and I'll give you the elements of this charge, child endangering. First of all, you have to be a parent, guardian, or custodian. The child has to be under the age of 18. We've met both those criteria. That parent must recklessly create a substantial risk to the health or safety of the child. Now, when I say recklessly, this is what it means in Ohio. With heedless indifference to the consequences, disregard a substantial and unjustifiable risk that the person's conduct is likely to cause a certain result. A child scampering away, it's not foreseeable that he's going to fall in the gorilla encampment.
Did the outcry of the public, all those emails you received, did that weigh on you when making this decision?
No, but I'll tell you, I've been a bit taken aback by some folks' moral equivalence of human life and animal life. And this is a beautiful little boy, and had they not acted and this animal behaved sometimes like animals behave, we could have had a genuine tragedy here. It's sad enough that the gorilla was taken out, but it could have been a lot worse.
Along those same lines, Joe, you've had a lot of major stories and news conferences, DeBose, the execution of Cincinnati police officers, serial killers, child killers, just the attention that's brought to Cincinnati and to the zoo. Are you surprised at that? I frequent the zoo, as my kids were growing up, and I talked to Thane Maynard on Friday, and they're genuinely heartbroken about what happened, and ultimately I think that some of their remedial fixes will solve this problem that they've done. But quite frankly, to get to your question specifically, I've never seen the attention given to a child endangering case in my life like this.
How's the family doing in talking to him through the investigation?
The family's doing great, and the investigators were very impressed with the home, the environment for the children, her attentiveness to her kids. The 3-year-old who fell through, outside of a couple scrapes and bruises, is fine. I think ultimately the child may need to get some kind of therapy to make sure he's okay.
Could he recall the events of that day?
I don't know. I don't know. I just know that when they went to the home, he was fine. And the home was appropriate for children that age. And quite frankly, the social workers were very impressed with the environment.
She's received death threats. Will you guys investigate any of that?
If she's received death threats, and she lives in Butler County, so it's not my county, but I would take that very seriously.
Did you think back as you're going through that incident case, think about your boys, your 3-year-olds, and the scampering off thing?
You know, we've been talking about this since it happened. I don't know about you all, but I might have been dead that day because I would have gone in there, and I'm not much of a match for that animal unless I'm armed.
But you can imagine that happening, I guess is what I'm saying, from your own experience.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, again, if you don't believe a 3-year-old can scamper away so quickly, you've never had kids. They just do that sometimes. And I just think we're lucky that the zoo did what they had to do.
Joe, given the level of interest in this case and how people have commented, can you specify to us from what you know investigatively about exactly what she did at the time, how many children she was watching?
She had 4 children total with her, including the 3-year-old. All of the witnesses, there were 4 witnesses that were interviewed. Personal Crimes Unit went to the zoo, I think, on 4 separate occasions to observe the physical layout of the structure. And the 4 witnesses described a very attentive mother who simply turned her back to take care of another child, and the 3-year-old went through the fence.
So within a matter of a couple seconds? Or?
Seconds. Now that is not heedless indifference to the result, probable result, in my mind. It's not even close. It's not even a close call in Ohio.
Is there a message here, a lesson here?
I don't know, Tom. I mean, the whole there's just on so many levels. This is a tragedy. You all that are local know how hard our zoo works to maintain a world-class operation, and after talking to Thane on Friday, it is very clear to me that they really are truly heartsick about this, but they've made some remedial changes to the enclosure, and hopefully this will never happen again.
Was the father at the zoo with the mother, or was she with any other family members?
She's with an adult friend, another woman, but the father was not present.
Was he interviewed at all?
I don't think so, no. We were centering on her behavior. That our entire focus was on what it was that she was doing when this child went into the encampment.
What are the ages of the other children she was with, Joe?
Julie, do we have that in the press release? It should be in the release, yeah.
You said you didn't.
They're all young, Tom.
You said you didn't receive any other video except for what we saw. No,
Right.
no other cell phone video from other witnesses or other people that were there at the time?
No. Nothing else.
And you never thought about any charges being filed against the zoo?
I don't know what the charge would be. They're not the parent or custodian taking care of the kid. No, I can't imagine any charges against them. Criminal. I mean, who knows if somebody's going to sue somebody over anything, but you can't guarantee that. But I can tell you that this happened so quickly, according to the witnesses, that there's nothing that the mother could have done. Okay? Thank you all.
All right, you've just been listening to a press conference in Cincinnati, Ohio, given by the prosecuting attorney, Joe Deters. He has decided not to charge the mom whose little boy, 3-year-old little boy, there you see him, fell into this gorilla enclosure at the Cincinnati Zoo. Harambe, the gorilla, you see him at one point dragging this little boy through the water. At one point, witnesses say that he took the little boy into his cave. Zoo officials saying that they had no choice. They had to sadly kill Harambe. The prosecutor saying in a statement that this was a tragic accident, a terrible loss for the zoo of their beloved gorilla. However, the zoo did the right thing when they took immediate action to save the life of a young child. A gorilla is a wild animal and by definition dangerous and unpredictable. Joseph Deters also saying that there was nothing the mother could have done. She just took her eyes off her child for just a few seconds, and the tragedy then happened.